Moving in together is not as simple as it sounds. It sounds like all sunshine and rainbows. You get to live with your boyfriend now, but there's a lot that needs to be talked about. Hello, beautiful people. Today we are talking about what it's like to live with your significant other. I moved in with my boyfriend about 2 years ago. There are a lot of situations that have come up in the past 2 years that I think, like, oh my gosh, why did nobody ever warn me about this? So I'm warning you now. So if you are planning on living with your partner very soon, listen up because this could help you. Your first test when moving in together is the move-in day. The move-in day is stressful AF, especially if you don't have movers or you don't have a lot of help. I definitely recommend you get some friends or movers or family to help you move. If not, it's gonna be stressful. So for us, we rented a U-Haul and we moved ourselves. When we moved into our first apartment, we didn't have that much furniture. A lot of the furniture we just ordered and purchased after we were moved in, little by little, so that does help alleviate the move-in day. But if you do have a lot of heavy items, or even if you just have a lot of stuff like clothes, it can be an issue to figure out how to split everything, where to place everything. Like, the way you're gonna map your apartment is for two, and there will be a lot of tension during those days, especially if you're on the time crunch. Like, sometimes they only give you a couple days that you need to move in by. Keep an open mind, know that this is part of the process. Just think of this as your first big test. Another thing that you probably won't expect to happen and will probably ruffle some feathers in your relationship is the thermostat wars. It's possible that one of you loves to be cold and runs hot versus the other one hates to be cold. That is most definitely the case in my home. I don't get hot easily. I'm usually okay, like my body regulates nicely. But my boyfriend gets hot so easily that he has the thermostat at, I think, like 68 or 69 at night. That is freaking cold. I am freezing at night. My nose is so cold. I have allergies and I have really dry skin naturally, so I get dried out. On the other hand, he literally can't sleep if it's not cold. But he's the one that goes to work. He's the one that wakes up earlier than me, so I'm like, okay, let's prioritize your needs. But there will definitely be thermostat wars. I have heard this in other relationships too, where both people can't agree of how cold to keep the house. So definitely communicate that. Try to keep a good middle ground. Maybe just at night you keep it a lot colder, but during the day it's a little more stable. Something like that usually works. A resolution that we have found that works for both of us is we have 2 separate blankets. So we have a king size bed, but we have 2 twin blankets on it. His is a cooling blanket, so it runs cold. And for me, I have my normal blanket plus 2 like really fuzzy, thick throw blankets on top on my side only. And he has a fan, like a small desktop fan on his side of the bed, only pointing at him. So he gets all this extra coolness coming from the cooling blanket, the fan, and the AC, and I'm over here snuggled up with extra blankets. No cooling blanket, no fan. Another situation that could cause some problems is getting a pet too soon. Yes, a pet might sound like a wonderful thing to do, especially right when you move in together. A lot of people think like, oh, we live together now, so let's get a pet now. But that doesn't always work out well, and you really have to think about the circumstances that your pet is going to live in, and are they truly going to be happy as your pet? For example, if this is your first place moving in together, I assume it's really small. Maybe it's an apartment. I don't know how much space this pet has to live in. If it's a dog, they need to be taken out to walk. They need a lot of attention. They might bark a lot, especially at first as a puppy, and that can cause some issues with your neighbors above, below, or around you. Think about the space you have around the apartment or where you live. Can you take them out for a walk? Will they live happily? Does your guys' schedule even fit, you know, walking time, playtime, things like that? Can you guys even afford the vet bills when the pet gets sick? Because pets can be very expensive, not only when they're sick, but just regularly for their food, for their maintenance, their grooming. All of that adds up, and all of that takes time too. So what happened with us, I was very close to my cat when I lived with my parents. His name is Igor. He's hairless. He is my baby. He's always been my baby. So we thought, okay, we're gonna move in with the cat. Like, of course it's my cat. But it actually caused a lot of problems. One, my cat is freaking spoiled, but we could not undo his habits, and it caused a lot of tension in our relationship. My cat slept with me for like 3 years. He's super clingy, very vocal, and he needs a lot of space because he's very energetic, especially with his breed. They love to explore, they love to climb, they like, He's basically wild. He's a very wild cat. He's really special. My apartment was way too small for my cat. He was finding creative ways to get into things, climbing up the cabinets, ruining my boyfriend's stuff, ruining our furniture right away. He was meowing all night because he couldn't sleep with me. We tried to sleep with the cat, but he would just wake up my boyfriend. My boyfriend has to get up early in the morning and he works from home, so he couldn't afford to have a cat crying all day, you know, being energetic, ruining things, tipping things over. It just was not working. Plus, I was also working full time, so I couldn't give my cat attention while my boyfriend was stuck at home with the cat. I had to give my cat back to my parents. My cat lives there happily. I'm basically paying child support. I pay for all of my cat's food, litter box, and I go there and I trim his nails and stuff, but that's a whole other thing. A pet is basically like a child. It is not to be taken lightly, so please consider all of the repercussions that could happen. Another thing is remember to spend time alone. Remember to enjoy your time alone. Don't get too attached to your partner or spending time with them. I've always preferred to isolate myself and I consider that as me time, but I noticed that I was getting very attached when my boyfriend went on a trip for 5 days out of state, and that really ruined me. I felt lost, I felt confused, I felt lonely. Like I felt like there was no point in me even being here. Like what do I even do if I'm by myself? But I'm really glad that I went through that because I realized like, okay, he wasn't always in your life. There was a time before he was in your life. What were you doing then? How come you were so happy? So make sure you protect yourself from getting too attached. Remember to do things for yourself. Get hobbies or just experience things that don't always involve your partner, and learn to enjoy that time because that will save you in the future whenever you're separated or whatever happens. Even if it's just a temporary separation, like a trip, it can really hurt if you're too attached. Some things that I like to do on my own time is watch my own TV shows. We watch basically everything together, but we made sure that we each had some shows that we can watch separately. That way we have like our own separate likings and not everything's together. Another thing is our hobbies. I love to paint, I like to draw, and I also like to do pole fitness. So this is my pole right here. So those are all things that I kind of have in my own realm of personality and have nothing to do with him in it. Another thing is your ideal aesthetic for your home and decor probably won't happen, especially if it doesn't follow through with what your partner likes. It's not all about what you want anymore, it's about what you both like. For example, the obvious, if you live with a man, you probably won't be able to have everything in your apartment as pink and glittery and sparkly, although I would love that. I know that's not realistic and I probably need to grow up from that anyways. But yeah, we've had some issues here. Like this is the room that has my pole, so this is the girly room. But even with this, like I could do so much more. I could make it so much more girly. I love pink. My bedroom back at home was freaking pink with a pink blanket and like pink pillows, pink everywhere. When we first moved in together, he got a huge American flag and he put it in the living room on top of the couch. And I was like, that's the first thing people are gonna see when they walk into the apartment. I feel like it looks like a man cave now. This doesn't look like a nice home. So there's just little things like, guys, of course, they want to express themselves too, but you have to work on like finding a balance and a middle ground to where your apartment's not absolutely girly or like absolutely his taste either. Just has to be kind of neutral and a nice compromise between both of your tastes. Another thing, and this is probably expected, but everything you do is now for two. You're not just living for yourself anymore, and that's also why it's so easy to lose yourself when you live together, because you kind of just merge into one. Like your routines are the same, and also like everything you do is for two. For example, if you're just trying to get a quick snack or if you're hungry, you also have to consider the other person. You're probably going to end up cooking a whole meal or like figuring out what you guys want for dinner, and whatever you figure out for dinner is going to be something that both of you like, not just one and then the other just figures it out, you know? Like you have to figure it out for both. Or for example, like if I'm gonna go down the street and get myself a coffee or like a boba drink, I call him and I ask him like, hey, do you want anything? Because there's always going to be someone waiting for you at home or waiting for you later at home. So you definitely have to get used to thinking for two people at all times. That even goes for the decisions that you make with your friends. Like, for example, I love to go out at night. Like, I love nightlife, but I have to consider my boyfriend, of course. Like, I'm not gonna do anything that disrespects him, but I always have in the back of my mind when I make decisions. So you kind of get used to that. It's a little hard to do in the beginning, and it might cause some issues, like this is my own life and I can spend my own money in the way that I want. Yeah, that's true, but even if you're not married, like, you just have to consider how serious your relationship is now. And this picture is for two. We only go out with friends that we really trust and we really consider the other person's feelings before we do it. Well, that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope that this has been helpful for you. I honestly wish that I heard these things before I went through it myself. If you have any tips to share or any experiences to share about your first time moving in together, please drop them down in the comments below. I'd love to hear. But yeah, I love you all so much. Give this a like if you want more videos like this. I can definitely make another video, like maybe talking more about like the dynamic of living with your boyfriend before marriage and get more into depth about that. So let me know if you want that. But yeah, I'll see you beautiful people next time. Have a blessed day. Bye.